Just out, there's a district attorney in the Atlanta area who's been investigating whether Donald Trump committed crimes by pressuring state officials to find more votes while the election was in dispute, if you recall. The courts in Fulton County, Georgia, have just granted that prosecutor a special grand jury for a year to investigate that case. And that's important because people like Brad Raffensperger, the Secretary of State, who was recently on Meet the Press talking about all this, has refused to talk to that prosecutor without a subpoena. So now she's got the grand jury to subpoena witnesses. And a lot of legal experts believe this could be the greatest criminal jeopardy for Donald Trump in this whole election fraud imbroglio, because he's on tape asking, if you'll recall, the Secretary of State to find the number of votes that he needed to win. So that's what's going on. In terms of Stewart Rhodes, the judge in that case has asked for a day or two to decide whether to grant the request by prosecutors that he should be held without bail as that case makes its way to trial. And that's an extraordinary request, as you know, Allison, for a defendant not accused of directly participating in violence. But prosecutors say the charge here is also extraordinary. You know, they accuse Rhodes of spearheading a conspiracy to use force to stop the lawful transfer of power, Allison.
Ken, could you just tell us a little bit more about seditious conspiracy? People may hear those two words and say, I don't know what that means. In simplest terms, what is it and how serious are these charges? Sounds pretty serious if they're trying to keep him in jail.
It's very serious. It carries a penalty of 20 years in prison. It's sort of technically, legally, it's defined as two or more people conspiring to impede the lawful procedures of government. It's not exactly treason, but as Lawrence Tribe, the constitutional scholar, said, it's kind of like the sibling of treason. It's also, Allison, a rare case to have been brought and really hard to win. Researchers say this is just the fourth time in the last 80 years the statute has been used against right-wing extremists in the United States. And two of those cases ended in acquittals, including one rather recently in 2010 against a Christian militia group in Michigan. In the context of January 6th, prosecutors are going to have to show that what happened was not just a protest, but that it was an organized and pre-planned attack on American democracy. What's interesting about a conspiracy prosecution is that the government can always add more defendants later if they discover that others took part. And that includes people who weren't there, people who were encouraging others. And some people believe that could include Donald Trump and his inner circle, although I have to say there's no evidence right now that the Justice Department is investigating Donald Trump as part of January 6th, Allison.
Ken Delaney, in breaking news here on NBC News Now. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.